And
Oh
we're
wait,
back.
is that?
Oh, never mind.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That's fine.
It's okay. You're not the first person to talk over the intro.
And you won't be the
Nor
last.
will you be, and neither will you be the last. Although I'd like
Sorry,
to point
you
out that
you were saying.
I was gonna say, is that 2,982 platinum pieces or 2,982 like gold's worth of platinum pieces?
No,
No,
it's
that's-
platinum
that's-
pieces.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's 2,982
we,
platinum pieces.
Yeah,
We
they
had a lot the last place we went to.
they looted a first age treasure haul, so
Yeah, that's why I've got loads of first age books written by a first age wizard about enchantment, which is what she's reading probably.
Like, actually, why did I do that?
So, as we resume, Lithari and Elizabeth are busy working away, doing their thing, learning to enchant, beginning the process of trying to fabricate a sword capable of slaying a dragon.
And learning new spells.
Elizabeth is also learning new spells. You guys are spending gold. Grim
Yep.
Grim visits one of the smiths on Lithari's recommendation and commissions a set of plate armor to be constructed. The rather sinewy dwarf who is holding the counter when you slap down the amount of gold for plate armor in one go
Oh my god.
is momentarily like grips his beard in surprise as you like throw down the money for this custom set of armor, and just sort of says, "Right, well, that'll cover it."
I love, like, I love just being so fucking rich that we could just be like, "Hi, I want a whole set of plate armor."
Bam.
Yeah, most people pay in installments, but cash is good
Yeah.
too.
We ain't got time for installments.
Oh my god.
Wow. I mean, true, but wow.
Elizabeth, you find a poor corner merchant selling expensive inks and paper and the occasional spellcasting component, and clean him out.
Yeah, buy his entire stock. Sorry. Probably with several sorries.
Yeah.
Because she feels bad about buying his entire stock.
This poor little town is just gonna be like, "Who the fuck are these people?"
But by the time that you guys are done with your various purchases, you've been in town like maybe a day or two, and there's already like some discussion flying around about who you guys are and what you're doing in town. And it certainly seems to draw at least a small amount of attention. To which end, Grim, after your many back and forths between splashing money on people, the four of you are having an afternoon's or an evening's rest in the tavern that you're staying at. When Elizabeth is like, considering all of the hard work that she's been doing over the last like couple of days, is sort of falling asleep in her food. The other three of you are sort of like engaged in sort of small conversation when a particularly rough-looking half-elf wearing a full set of chain armor and hefting a large greatsword across his back enters the tavern, and in making a line to the bar, notices the four of you off to one side, and dismisses his colleague, who is a similarly armored dwarf, and makes his way over to your table.
Probably finds Elizabeth just rambling about
Hmm.
presumably all of the books she's been reading.
Just
enchantment.
babbling incoherently.
Yeah, incoherent babbling about all of the enchantment books that were found in the stuff on all Latherman's books.
He waits for a brief pause in your conversation and then says, "Excuse me, folks, but I couldn't help but notice you look like adventuring types."
Do you?
What on earth gave it away? I'm kidding. Yes, we are.
Yeah. Don't mean to interrupt your meal and time, but wondering if you've come across any suspicious behaviour while you've been here. Anything that you sort of caught your eye about? Strange things going on, particularly suspicious-looking individuals.
You're gonna have to be a bit more specific than that, but
Well, I mean, would I have noticed anything in the presumably one time I've been outside?
Given your passive perception, I will say no. You've not noticed it. You've not noticed anything that's unusual, to say the least.
Because then Elizabeth
Apart from an old woman with a secret forge basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, apart from that.
Yeah. Well, then Elizabeth would probably just shake her head and just be like, "I'm afraid not. I've kind of been holed up inside pretty much every day, so I'm very sorry."
That's a shame. Well, I suppose if you do come across anything or anyone makes any proposals to you that don't sit right with you, the local guard is offering a bounty for some information. I don't put too much stock in the stories, but folk have said there's somewhat of a masked vigilante going around stirring up trouble. And we'd rather like to put a stop to it, if you know what I'm saying.
I will.
I love how they want to combat this with another party of vigilantes.
I will.
it's fine.
He's just asking if you have information. He hasn't said do anything.
I will
Those are
keep
the
my eyes and
same
ears
thing.
open. Yeah, I will keep my eyes and ears open, but like I said, I'm spending a lot of time inside. I can't promise anything.
I'm not expecting too much. It's folks from out of town tend to be they tend to see this a little more for what it is. The local folk have somewhat banded to him a little.
What in particular should we look out for?
Anyone sort of skulking around or behaving in strange ways. I
guess there's one important question: is this vigilante committing crime or trying to stop crime? Because there's two types of vigilantes, and
well,
or both.
Essentially, to cut a long story short, there's been a number of enterprising young thieves, ruffians, that sort of thing. They come out at this time of year when work in the fields is scarce and people tend to resort to less legitimate methods of paying their way through. However, this particular vigilante has left a couple of these folks in none too good a condition. Nothing serious, mind you, just couple of bad bruisings, concussions, maybe a handful of broken bones.
It's still unpleasant.
We'd like to put this up. As much as I can understand people wanting to protect their property, that's what the town guard is for. We're here to do a job. But yeah, it just if anything jumps out at you, just come and find me or one of my colleagues.
I will do.
Yeah, I'd give him a little mock salute.
Yeah. It's appreciated. He walks off back to the bar and orders something to eat.
I don't like the sound of that, even if it is just something small.
I mean,
I'd
which
imagine
part of it?
I imagine you'd be all for it, considering taking justice into your own hands.
I mean, there's a difference between.
No, wait, hold on. Wait, did I misunderstand this? Because my understanding was this person is taking stuff from other people and also
No.
hurting them in the process.
Sorry, miscommunication. They are a mass vigilante hunting down criminals.
Yeah, they are. They are learning about.
Oh.
They are beating up the people who are trying to make their money less legitimately.
Okay, I misunderstood that. Okay, I take that comment back then.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly, the first thing my mind wanders to is wondering if a certain old person got bored. Lithari? But
I don't think that.
I feel like Lithari would not. She's
Oh.
too good to be this sloppy.
Yeah. Also, I don't really think that this is the sort of thing that she would do, and we could just ask her.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, I don't want to make assumptions.
I mean, at the very least, maybe she's seen something, considering she lives here.
Well, yeah, let's might as well have a talk. Well, I say have a talk. Might as well mention it casually. Wait, actually, is she not joining us? I just realized we were talking as if she isn't here, but
No, she. I imagine she is not, because I imagine she is at home eating.
oh yeah.
I think just because the conversation's got long enough, it's under the assumption that she wasn't there. I think she's probably burning the midnight oil a little bit. But
Yes,
I
it
think
is
at one
quite
point
late.
she would definitely join. She would definitely like to join them for like meals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
this
think
is like a couple of days in, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there's probably an open invitation as well. Like we've all, well, I mean,
Yeah.
those of us around Elizabeth have obviously met Lithari before.
Yeah, perhaps you were just taking care of things at the forge. So
Mhm.
I imagine it's a long process.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, at no point is Elizabeth going to openly offer, but she's not exactly going to be like, what are you doing? Get back to work if she shows up. It's just she'd feel awkward mentioning, like, oh, by the way, if you want to come hang out with us, that'd be cool. Because
Yeah, no, I think Lithari is definitely hanging out with you
Yeah.
guys most.
Yes.
That would make sense.
I imagine in this circumstance, you were halfway through teaching Elizabeth something, and she was just nodding off, and you're just like, go home and sleep, or go back to the
Yeah.
tavern and sleep.
Yeah.
because imagine first day was probably 14 hours of copying the first spell. Then presumably today has been 8 hours of copying the second spell. So she's just spent 8 hours at a book, just.
But yes, you resolve to discuss it in the morning.
Basically.
Yeah, you're unless anyone wants to do or say anything else. I think your night passes without incident.
Nice.
Nice.
What? A good night's sleep? Woo! What is this?
Yeah, I will admit I got a little worried when you mentioned Elizabeth specifically there. I was half expecting like fucking someone she knows to pop up, and I was like, oh, what the hell's going on?
Nope. But yeah, the next day comes, and you guys get about your business.
Cool.
Paint a scene as you wish.
I think Lithari is just like at this point, just like while she's working on the actual blade itself, just kind of like having Elizabeth both watch her, but also like quizzing her on certain like enchanting processes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, start of the next day was probably Elizabeth casting Fabricate.
Well, and I guess, considering
If
we
she'd
had,
died the day before.
considering we also had the question about the vigilante, although I guess we never answered the question if we actually want to do anything about it, because I'm pretty sure both Arya and Kelariis are perfectly fine with it, and I don't mind letting it slide, but I don't want to make this decision for them.
I mean, yeah, like if we see anything, maybe we take a look, see ourselves, but
Oh, well, but I guess
like-
perhaps we should still ask Lithari, because it would be good to know.
yeah. Here's a reason why not Lithari is actually going around just...
Oh.
I mean, I am now having a think and be like, would Elizabeth bring it up?
Well, I imagine we just go there in the morning together, right?
Yeah, probably.
'Cause you're helping out, and then
It's like you guys are dropping her off.
Just dropped her off for school.
Yep. Okay, bye, Elizabeth. Have a great day.
Bye, sweetie. Have fun at smithing camp.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure if you called Elizabeth sweetie, she'd have very conflicting feelings.
Hmm.
Actually, it really depends on who did it.
I was gonna say if Arya did it, it would be like, what?
Yeah,
the
if Grim did it, she'd just be like, never call me that again. If Arya did it, she'd look at Arya like she'd grown a second head, and if Kelariis did it, she'd briskly walk away and pretend it didn't happen.
I was gonna say,
Wow.
Because she doesn't want to see Kelariis. She doesn't want Kelariis to see the fact that her face has just turned bright red.
wow.
I can't believe that. Anyway.
I'd like to think that Elizabeth's first reaction to Arya calling her sweetie would be to cast Dispel Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Honestly, same as Grim, because it wouldn't be the first time that that would have happened.
Yeah.
Due to actual magic.
Yeah, of course.
Luka, what was your comment going to be?
Nothing.
Wow.
I was gonna say I can't believe Elizabeth has the hots for Kelariis.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but Elizabeth is very gay. Okay.
Honestly, who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't have the hots for Kelariis? Who doesn't want a buff dragon who kicks ass in the name of a god with a badass sword and shield? Who doesn't want them to just like wrap them up in their arms and protect them?
I just like how this whole campaign started off as if Grim was the one that was into Kelariis. I feel like Grim is the one that's least into Kelariis at this point.
Yeah. No, we found out that Grim just wants her for her fucking muscles and sword skills.
Yeah. Yeah, Grim's shallow. He just wants. Yeah.
No, he just wants her as part of the fucking mercenary.
Yeah.
That's literally been it the entire time.
Yeah.
Wow, I cannot fucking believe I accidentally? Not even accident. Anyways.
Anyway,
This is fine.
so
Look,
you guys are standing outside Lithari's debating whether to ask Lithari about this vigilante.
Well, I guess not so much debating as if we see her as we arrive. Well, good morning, I guess.
Well, yeah, I presume you do, because I presume
Good-
that the
good-
first thing we do is
Yeah.
knock on the door, rather than just barge in and go, "Sup, we're here to Smith."
I mean, I imagine she's up early, probably. Probably because she does also have like her normal like client work to do. So I imagine she's doing that in the morning.
Oh, that is a point. A couple of days into your visit, Llewellyn will return, so he will be able to assist you with that.
Yeah, I'm probably having him do all of the client work and focusing my attention on the sword.
You work on the normal stuff. I'll do the magical artifact.
Yeah.
That will probably become legendary.
Llewellyn
You need to
is disappointed, but he does it anyway.
Well, this
It's okay.
Well, this is the thing. He can still take part of the credit.
Yeah,
Because
he needs
if it wasn't
to.
for him, then there would have been less time for Lithari to work on it.
He also needs to work on getting the hardness of his springs correct. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, good.
That's what she said.
What?
Is
I hate
it?
this.
This is...
I don't even
That doesn't even
know
what?
and I hate it anyway.
It's fine.
I'm sorry. Let's move
So,
on.
but yeah. I guess we'll start with a good morning.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
So, Lithari,
Yes.
well, you mentioned there was like something going on in town, and we got asked about it as well. And we just want to make sure that we weren't accidentally messing with anything you're doing, because there's a vigilante doing things, and I was like, I didn't see it like as being out of the realm of possibility that you might, get up to some local justice every now and then.
Local
But
justice.
I think Lithari kind of chuckles and she says, "Oh, I'm flattered that you would think I would be up to something like that, but yeah, that masked shadow individual fellow, I don't know. I haven't seen any sign of him myself, but I've heard from a couple of my, you know, the Smiths of this town tend to talk and gossip, and one of them, she said that her shop got broken into a couple months ago, and that, but before anything could be taken, somebody came and defeated all of the would-be robbers. So I mean,
oh man, there's not a lot of bad going on.
no, certainly. I mean, as an ex-member of the military, I must say I'm remiss to think that it would be wise not to just let the city guard do their job. But
I mean, sometimes it's it's fine for other people to step in.
oh, of course.
Yeah, I get like the point is more that like you have to like if you don't let the city guard do things, then people stop trusting the city guard, and and like they get lazy potentially. There's a whole it's a cycle of a downward spiral.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's if they're getting lazy because one person is stepping in to do to basically help out. I don't think
Like
that-
occasional help is fine, but like how about if we find them for whatever reason? How about we just tell them to be a little more careful?
Take it down a notch.
House them.
Also, because we don't do enough of these in this party, can I insight check?
Who?
Lithari.
Sure.
Wow.
I can't believe you would.
Look,
Oh.
Elizabeth doesn't know her that well.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Should I just roll something?
Sure.
I guess it would be deception, right? Well, no, actually, I say deception as if you're
Oh, yeah.
lying. It's
Yeah,
like-
yeah. I mean, I don't have proficiency in persuasion or deception or anything, so I'm just gonna roll a charisma check.
Yeah. I mean, that makes no sense, I guess.
Can't go wrong with charisma.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
This is a great time to point out that technically my dice roll was lower.
Yeah.
Why do I always roll 9? I swear 9 is like my most rolled number. Or at least it's up there. I roll a lot of 9s with plus 11.
Yeah, so you guys, I guess, set about your work.
Mm-hmm. I think with the insight check, Elizabeth could probably tell that. I mean, Lithari's not being entirely truthful. But she definitely knows more than she's letting on.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys continue about your work. What are the rest of you doing?
happy to let Scarlet roam around the forge or whatever she does.
Guess like Grim would. I guess mainly just taking it easy because there's not much. It's finally a break, really.
Okay. So you're just chilling. Has anybody actually got anything that they want to do, or?
I don't have anything specific because I can't like think of something that Kallistrate would do, but I feel like she's probably getting a little antsy, just like not doing anything at all.
A little bit
But I
fidgety.
also don't... A
little bit fidgety.
Yeah, but like I also don't really know what. Like I don't even think she would necessarily know what there is she could do. You know, like.
Yeah, same with Arya.
Just keeping weather eye open for any vigilantes that you spot.
Yeah, I guess so. We can go hunt the streets at night.
We can...
For vigilante.
We're gonna be our own vigilante duo, but not really.
Yeah.
The vigilante.
Anti-vigilantes. I mean, I was gonna say, do you reckon Kelariis looks visibly sort of?
I mean, she's probably not. Kind of, but not probably as outwardly as Elizabeth might be, for example.
She looks bored.
Okay. Oh, hang on, she looks bored.
I mean, yeah, a little. And kind of just like, I don't know. I mean, Kelariis likes to be doing things even when she's, like, got time off.
Yeah. I mean... You know, if there's a day where Elizabeth doesn't feel that tired, comparatively, and Kelariis is looking bored, she probably will at some point just be like, let's have a snowball fight.
Excuse me?
Let's have a snowball fight. There's snow outside. We can totally do it. It'll be fun.
How? What?
Look, all you really need to know is you make a ball out of snow and you throw them at each other.
Is that what you did the other
time?
It's like,
yeah, you know, it's like you know when you see kids and they're like play fighting.
Well, yeah, but usually we do that with like driftwood or stuff on the beach. Well,
yeah, but you know, snow is less painful. Well, I say that. It's not that bad unless you're younger. It is still pretty painful if your younger brother fucking rolls ice in his snowballs. But anyway. Look, it's just like another little method of play fighting. It's fun. You look like you could use a bit of fun. Honestly, Arya too, but I think Arya would like set Lear on me if I suggested that she had a snowball fight.
I mean, there's no harm in asking.
Looks at Arya.
Arya has never had a snowball fight, so...
Does Arya
oh my god.
Does Arya state that?
Yeah, I mean, she's like, I've never had a snowball fight. Seems kind of pointless.
Oh, but it's so much fun.
I mean, I guess...
It's just a little bit of silly, childish fun.
Well, in theory, I guess it would improve aim, right? If you want it to not be pointless.
Yeah, if you wanted to get better at throwing things.
Alright.
I was gonna say, Arya's probably already very good at doing that, but...
I was like, I am an archer!
I know, archery and throwing projectiles doesn't necessarily translate.
I feel like...
Although there was the time that you and Grim had a darts match.
Who won that? I won. I think I won that, right?
Arya did because I remember her being less upset with Grim afterwards.
Yeah, true.
That sounds about right.
An argument or something, or they had bickered about something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the other half of the fun, which is making little snow barricades.
I just gotta like give Arya a shrug, like, no harm. We're not doing much else, honestly.
I mean, I guess we can do it. Seems a little odd.
At which point Elizabeth would presumably go to grab them by the arm, remember what happened last time she did that, and then just stand next to you excitedly waiting for you to stand up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's go.
It's in
I
Arya's
guess.
voice.
Snowball fight. Casual snowball fight in the street.
Casual
Worm, do you
snowball
want in
fight.
as well, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
When is this being like proposed anyway? Like, where are we?
Well,
Who's here?
Presumably it'd be like in the tavern, like probably just after we finished eating. Presumably in the afternoon, because it's when Elizabeth's not helping Lithari anymore.
Well, I imagine Lithari has come with you this time, so if Lithari wants to get in on the snowball fight...
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like, if anybody else, like, Kallistrate is gonna be like, I guess come and join us? I don't know.
I think Lithari says, I think I'll leave this one to the young ones.
Wow.
I mean, also, based on the one thing that Vondal liked to mention, she'd probably just catch the snowballs and throw them back. He was really impressed with that arrow thing, by the way. He'd never admit that, but he talked about it a lot.
Did you just consider joining us just so you could do that?
I am now just imagining the scene from Kung Fu Panda, but instead of a cannonball, it's a snowball.
Oh my god, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, except it's like a big one that Kelariis has made because she's got bigger hands. It's just like, whoa.
But no, I think Lithari says, well, I'm flattered, but I assure you it wasn't that impressive.
That's a lie.
I was gonna say, I don't know many people who could catch a projectile out of the air like that. Like, arrows and crossbow bolts do not travel slowly.
Arya could if she remembered she had the ability.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've literally, I don't think ever done that.
Nope.
No,
But I feel like
How long have you had those gloves?
I feel like we don't really have like I'm trying to remember like any time we've ever had like archers.
Many times!
Attacking us.
Yeah.
Really?
Many times.
Yeah.
Admittedly, you don't get shot that often.
There was an entire fight on the boat where 3 people were trying to shoot you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
Well,
We were kind of
one day I'll
preoccupied
remember
with
it,
that
and you'll
fight,
all
though.
be shocked.
You should just write a note to
Yeah,
yourself.
and it'll
like,
be-
hey.
Yeah, remember
be-
next time.
Yeah, and the same thing will happen when Vondal remembered that he had the boots of striding and springing.
Yep.
And he just suddenly jumped a massive gap with no problem, and everyone will be like, what the fuck?
That was pretty
Oh.
wild.
Yeah. So you guys head outside, pile up some snow, start to make some snowballs.
Elizabeth presumably gives a little tutorial. 'Cause sometimes
Eh.
making snowballs is harder than it looks.
Elizabeth gives a tutorial while Grim creates a proper military-style dugout in the snow.
No.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, Grim makes a
Okay.
military snow fort.
What does he always take too far?
Because
Because-
it's
Why?
It's
Yeah,
grim.
because it's Grim,
That's
and we
fine.
love it.
Everyone else is scooping up snow with their hands. Grim is making a dugout with a shovel.
yeah, you just whip that a shovel.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Oh.
That is a very
Oh.
grim, though.
There is one move though that Grim does want to try.
Excuse me?
Without like trying to do so without anyone else noticing. He'll shovel some snow into the bag of holding,
Okay.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Why?
and at some point during the fight, he'll try and sneak
Oh.
up on someone
Oh, he's just gonna
and
tip it
just
upside down and
release the snow
Wow.
on top of someone.
Yeah, he'll just hold it like.
Because that seems like
uh,
the best and worst move ever.
that
Wow.
does sound
See,
hilarious.
the main problem is I can't really get over your head, so it's mainly just going to be your
Yeah.
legs.
No, you'll have to wait till
Yeah,
someone's
you're
hiding.
just dumping on somebody's legs.
No, you'll have to wait till someone's crouching behind their dugout because personally, I do imagine at some point Elizabeth has got like what's for her like a waist-high dugout which she's kneeling behind and has just got a pre-made pile of snowballs which she's throwing with both hands.
Fair enough.
So,
'Cause
a
that's exactly how I do snowball fights.
a snowball fight breaks out between the 4 of you. many balls are thrown, some with accuracy, some with strength, and
with effort.
At one point, Grim produces the bag of holding and attempts to move towards Elizabeth's dugout. However, being Grim and moving around in waist high snow for him, ankle high snow for everyone else, thigh high snow for everyone else. Basically, he's fairly obvious in doing so, and we basically get that scene from The Lord of the Rings where the Uruk-hai with a torch is running towards the walls in Helm's Deep, except it's Grim with a bag of holding filled with snow. Despite the fact that you absolutely barrage the hell out of him with snowballs, he still makes it.
Yep. God. At which point Elizabeth probably has the very awkward moment of, oh shit, now there's snow down my robes.
Yep.
Yeah. I also imagine Lithari and Llewellyn are watching this from a tavern window, and at some point Lithari just kind of says to Llewellyn, "Would you tip our waitress, please?" And she steps up and sneaks outside and just pelts Elizabeth in the back of the head with a snowball.
Oh my god!
And then heads back inside.
Can you roll me a stealth check?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, as you're dusting this mountain of snow from your robes.
I'd like to point out as well, that's only just enough to beat my passive perception.
Yep. A snowball strikes you in the back of the head. You 180 around and nobody is there.
Yeah, Elizabeth's just God damn it, everyone's going off on me again.
We'll toughen you up.
And then presumably she just gets up and runs for some safer cover.
Yeah. So, cold and wet, the four of you return to the tavern. Enjoy a few more drinks and some food, and then head to bed.
Yeah. Elizabeth's just see you guys, I told you that'd be fun.
Yeah, it was alright.
Although I need to.
I imagine Lyra was just sitting there watching it these fucking idiots.
Probably.
I think Kelariis probably gets surprisingly into it, not having really known what to expect, and just being oh yeah, this is actually pretty fun.
Although I need to get out of these robes, pretty quick.
Do you not have any magical spells that do something of that sort?
I want you to explain what you mean by that, because the way my head has processed that is...
Wow.
Yeah, I want you to explain.
Do you have the spell Prestidigitation, which allows you to dry your clothes?
No.
Well, I'm sure Khadrizza would offer.
Oh, of course. Sorry, my brain just stopped working for a second there.
Fire elemental.
That would involve... Would involve going back to the forge. I don't sleep in the forge.
Are you really disappointed that going back to the forge?
I'm not disappointed, I'm just pointing out I don't sleep in the forge.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You guys all return to your relative beds for a night's rest. Are you guys, in this tavern, are you guys sleeping in separate rooms, or are you sleeping all in one room?
I guess it kind of depends how... I feel at this point, if we can afford ourselves a little bit of luxury.
Okay, so separate rooms it is then. In that case, Arya.
Although Elizabeth would take a bath.
Yes.
Okay, you take a bath. Arya, about maybe 2 hours into your meditation, there is a knock at your window.
Excuse.
Which is also impressive considering you're on the second floor.
Yeah. Can I see who's out there?
Yeah, you step up and look, and like as you move towards the window, a silhouette flicks away off the edge of the roof by your window, and then jumps over the street to the next roof. Turns to look at you, and you see this figure in a black cloak that covers like the face and shoulders and back, and like breaks up the form. A heavy black mask covers like the lower portion of the face that you can only see like the faintest glint of eyes in the moonlight.
Well, I think we found our vigilante.
But yeah, your the figure turns back towards you, offers a polite wave, and then, almost like smoke, disappears off the roof.
Excuse? Is it like just like a hello wave? Like not like a follow me wave?
That's a matter of interpretation.
I mean, I feel like there's a clear difference.
I guess what you're asking is it a side-to-side wave, or is it a beckon?
It is not a beckon, it's a wave, but how you want to interpret that wave is your prerogative.
I want to follow so bad. But I'm like, the last time someone did something stupid and impulsive, Arya chewed their ass.
I mean, to Arya's credit, I feel like this is a less stupid and impulsive decision
than shit-talking a dragon.
Well, than a lot of other things that people have done impulsively.
True.
Well, maybe. Potentially, at least. Do it. Follow your heart.
Look, and it's been like at least a few weeks since we chewed people out. Or since she did it.
Okay. I'm gonna open the window and go over there.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna attempt to pursue this individual.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Lyra know that I'm leaving, though.
Okay.
So in case anything fishy happens.
Okay.
She can get the others.
Cool. One second. Okay. Can you make me a survival check with advantage? Okay. So as you're running to, like, you leap out across this rooftop and follow the figure. The figure darts down from one roof and up to another. And you give chase, and it always seems like they are just on the edge. Like, you just catch them looking back at you every time you like lose sight of them and then find them again. And this proceeds for 2, maybe 3 minutes. Until you reach a rooftop that is basically like almost up against the small wall at the edge of town, where the figure basically stops, like crouched on the rooftop, like looks at you and is like, they're now basically cornered, but they've allowed themselves to be cornered.
Okay. And who are you? What are you doing up here?
I think Lithari like reaches up and takes
What?
off her mask.
God damn it!
Yeah, you watch as the mask comes away underneath to reveal a face that you recognize, and you watch as the mask comes away, several pieces of the outfit sort of like dissipate from her with magic. Just shoo.
I'll just go for a midnight stroll. I figured you'd enjoy
So you're the
fresh air.
vigilante?
Well, it was more of an accident than anything else, but...
An accident how? How do you just accidentally become a vigilante?
Well, okay, so one night I was just out and about and noticed some hooligans getting up to some nonsense and decided that it would be in my best interest and in everyone's best interest that they were promptly scolded. But unfortunately, somebody noticed me, and it just so happened that I was in the middle of testing out this new mask.
I see. So now you've made it a running thing.
Well, I thought it would be a nice way to, get out of the house every once in a while.
You have to know it's a problem. I mean, the townspeople are complaining about it.
Well, actually,
It's
technically,
nice that you want to help out, but...
correction, the guard is complaining about it. The townspeople
Okay.
love it.
Oh, well, never mind then. That's fine. If that's the case, Arya's like, whatever.
Oh, I do it.
Yeah, I figured you'd want to join in at least once.
Oh, we're gonna be vigilante buddies!
Holy
I'm
shit.
so excited.
Oh.
Sure. Show me what you do.
See, there you go. Sometimes being impulsive pays off.
Vigilante buddies! Oh my god.
I feel like we need to do a vigilante campaign just to please Luka at this point.
You said that like this hasn't been one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we just don't do as much
True.
sneaking about it.
Okay, true.
Yeah, we just do it out in the open.
Well, we try to sneak.
I mean,
And we always fail.
you publicly unseated a corrupt politician by like basically crashing his dinner party.
Yeah, that's probably the
True.
sneakiest we've ever been. As a group. As a group.
But yeah, I don't know how deep we want to get into this, but I imagine like Lithari says like great and puts on the mask and like watches like the small armor bits appear over her robes and stuff. And she like pulls her hood back up and just like again, yeah, just kind of like almost like turns to like jump to a nearby rooftop, but like it's almost like yeah, her form turns a little bit smoky as she does it.
What? That's so
What
cool.
the fuck?
How are you doing that?
Remember that Duragar fellow that we fought way back when?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I managed to get my hands on his mask and, made a few alterations.
See.
Yeah, it comes in quite handy.
Yeah, it certainly makes getting around easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if anything happens or how long we want to go for, but yeah, I think Lithari just kind of like leads Arya around the city and just just kind of basically just showing off at this point.
Yeah,
On patrol.
yeah.
We're on patrol.
You Jessica Jones around the city for a little bit.
I imagine Arya like tries to outdo her a little bit with some acrobatics.
Yeah. Lithari is also like I think it just turns into a contest of one-upmanship.
Yeah.
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 Like
So
backflipping over roofs.
So it's less. So what you're saying is you're less vigilante pros and more competing parkour artists.
Potentially.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, you turn the rooftops of Emberroth into a parkour paradise for a few hours.
Oh my god. What a quote.
Yeah, before returning home and completing the last of your meditation while everyone else is still asleep.
Man, It feels good to only have to meditate for 4 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, presumably right across the hallway in Elizabeth's room, loud snoring.
And drooling.
Loud snoring, drooling, and a dragon asleep on their head.
Yep. But yeah. So, with that, does anyone else have any more scenes that they want to do, or shall we skip ahead to a few weeks' time?
I'm alright skipping.
Yeah, I'm fine with skipping.
Yeah.
I just like to imagine that Arya joined Lithari out some more adventures at some point.
Yeah. You guys every couple of nights sort of do the rounds.
Paint the streets red.
Spook.
Oh my god.
Oh, please don't do that.
I think the real question is, does Arya spill the beans?
No, definitely not.
Good.
No, you wander the streets for a couple of nights, spook a couple of perhaps would-be ne'er-do-wells.
I imagine there's a bit where that Lithari does to like specifically show off, where she like leads Arya to like one of the tallest buildings in the city and just like backflips off of the roof of it.
God, it's like Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Yeah. And then when Arya goes to like look over the edge, she's just like totally gone. And then like a moment later, Lithari just kind of taps her on the back.
Oh my god.
Oh. Also, I do actually imagine over the next few weeks, Elizabeth's like spending the whole time going, should I question the thing?
Yeah, you're just like, do I think about it?
Yeah, A, she's too socially anxious to bring it up, and B, she doesn't want to be rude and cry.
But yeah, so we will skip on ahead a little. Can I ask Lithari and Elizabeth? Lithari, can you make me an extended tools check for your smithing?
Okay.
So let's 3 consecutive rolls. And then Elizabeth, 3 consecutive rolls for your Arcana, please.
What is that? Dexterity?
Yes. So yeah, it'll be dexterity plus tool proficiency.
Right.
I am full of frickin' magic.
Wow.
I am freaking magic.
Yep, casual TF2 quote.
Good lord.
Wow, okay. So, thanks to Elizabeth's natural aptitude for learning and Lithari's years of practice, the blade begins to take shape fairly swiftly in the for by the standards of crafting. It basically you manage to fabricate this blade in the same time it takes them to make a custom set of plate mail for Grim, which is impressive.
Yeah.
But as you're getting into the later days, you're beginning to like put the fine details in and weave the last few aspects of the spells that go into this. So I will not make you roll any skill checks to procure the rare and wondrous materials, as that strikes me as something well within Lithari's capabilities as a Master Smith. So if you guys want to go and deduct 13,000 gold's worth of material cost...
I already way ahead of you.
I was going to say, have you already deducted all of those expenditures we came up with?
Yep.
There you go.
I might as well, before we forget, which... yeah.
Yeah, and with that... do between you want to describe this sword that you've made?
Yeah, I think Lithari would make like a big deal of like revealing it to everybody, or like having Elizabeth and her like reveal it to everybody else. So she'd probably like call everybody down to her forge.
Also, if you think the second they finish it, Elizabeth doesn't like look at Lithari, look at the sword, and look at Lithari again, and just go, "I am so proud of us." You are sadly mistaken.
Yeah, I think Lithari gives her like a pat on the back, and like Khadrizza like flares up in satisfaction.
Scarlet gives a little roar because she just wants to join in. Yep, just like that.
But yeah, I think Lithari would kind of like call everybody to her secret forge.
I still don't know what this sword does.
No, you
I have
don't.
an idea.
yet.
I have an idea, and I also have like a nice description. But feel free to add anything to like what it looks like if you want.
It's probably more like one minor addition I'd make, but but yeah, I'll do that after your description.
But yeah, I think Lithari waits till everybody's there, and she says, "Well, I believe it was certainly worth the wait. But yeah, Elizabeth, do you want to show them what we've done?" Like, I imagine Elizabeth has like a cloth wrapped sword.
Yep.
Yeah. Well then, yeah, Elizabeth would lift a flap and then of this cloth, and then just boom, sword.
Yeah, so I think so it's a long sword, like a double-edged long sword, and the blade of it is made out of the elemental brass, whereas the crossguard is made out of this like coppery metal, but it's been like tarnished or tinted in a way that gives it like this like very like red color, and it's shaped to look like a dragon's head with like the mouth kind of open and the blade like extending out of it. And you can see on one side of the crossguard there's like a ruby embedded where the eye is. I think Lithari used one of the rubies that she got from the first time she met up with you guys.
Nice.
And yeah, the hilt itself is like wrapped in like a very nice leather, and the pommel is just like a very it's a very thin pommel, but comes out to like a very sharp point at the end, like, and kind of fashioned to look like some sort of claw or tooth. That is also made out of elemental brass. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, the only thing I'd probably add is just like as a show of Elizabeth's aid, a lot of the hilt, crossguard, all of that part probably has her sort of trademark blue hexagony sheen to it. Like obviously magical appearance, like much like her arcane ward would look whenever it's triggered, where it just looks like a very thin layer of magical blue hexagons, basically, all joined together.
Yeah, so does the sword have like all of the effects on it that?
It does. I will present you with a thing in just a moment.
Okay.
It's gonna be one hell of a sword.
Yeah.
It better be.
It better be.
I want a refund. No.
Wow.
So there is one key thing that has not been established, and without it the sword does not have any power. It needs a name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I think
I imagine Elizabeth like lifts the flap and just looks to Lithari and says, "I think you should tell them the last detail."
Yeah, Lithari like picks up the sword and kind of just like runs her hand along the length of the blade, and then with a flourish, just kind of like whips it around her head, and you watch like with like a whoomp, the elemental brass blade just bursts into flames, and she says, "This is the Red King's treachery," and just holds it in front of her.
Red King's treachery.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that name?
Well, one dragon killing another.
Oh, yeah, I see.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, let's hope let's hope we get to do plenty of betraying. Let's hope we don't have to betray more than once. Because one dragon is probably more than enough for a lifetime.
That is quite the sword.
However,
Yeah. I'm hoping if we do have to meet another dragon, it's a bit more, chill.
But yes, there is the sword. Oh, I forgot to mention it requires attunement.
Oh my god.
I love the last effect.
I know. That's so good. That's for specifically stealing the dragon's hoard, I think.
Wow.
You kill the dragon, then you use the sword to steal its hoard. Oh, that's a badass sword.
Yeah.
It makes me want to learn. It makes me want to learn how to use a longsword. Rather than ability score increase, just get skills so I can get proficiency.
Yeah, I think Lithari would just kind of like after that just dismiss the flames, then hold it across her two hands and just kind of like proffer it to the group of you.
What is the command word though?
Oh, that's a good point.
What if it's because so is Khadrizza like just the name in common? Would she have would they have a slightly different name in Primordial?
Yeah, I imagine.
Translation.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. It's like one of those things where that's like a romanization of like what her actual name is in Primordial. So it's probably like a slightly different pronunciation.
Yeah, because what if the command word is Khadrizza's name in Primordial?
That's a
I
very
hope
good.
someone can pronounce it.
Elizabeth would tell you how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's not so much knowing how as to being able to. But yeah, no, that would be fine. In honor of the elemental that helped us forge it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really good idea.
In honor of the flames that forged it, those flames will come to assist you.
Hell yeah.
Nice. So yeah, who takes the sword?
That's the one thing we haven't really considered so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious choice is Kelariis. She's our biggest hitter.
Yeah, but
I also have Freedom's tongue is the other thing.
Yeah.
Which is...
Yeah.
It's pretty close to being as good as this thing.
Yes.
Actually, it might be better.
In its current state, it is not as powerful.
Yeah, okay. I forget what it does.
But it's the sword itself is not that powerful. It's the fact that it combos with features that Kelariis has as a paladin that makes it so strong. It's worth noting it is a longsword.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not a finesse weapon. So you will be using strength to attack with it.
I mean, yeah, Elizabeth would, if Elizabeth sees that no one's really stepping forward, Elizabeth would sort of just hands on hips, looking at the sword, go, I'd say a fine weapon for a fine leader.
Yes,
And
I
then
guess
look
that
to
would
Grim.
make sense. Well, like, I guess I am the only sensible choice.
Given I can't use the long sword.
And everyone else has a
Not
magic
finesse.
sword.
Yeah, it's not
Yep.
finesse, and everyone else has a magic sword.
And well, like, I do have a magic sword that I use, but like,
Not yours.
it's
It's
well,
someone
you say
else's
it's not
stolen
mine.
sword.
Well, we won it fair and square in battle.
It's a pilfered sword.
I mean, but also it is not this sword. This sword is.
It's
Yeah,
it is nowhere
like,
near
it's-
this
No,
sword.
It is not the Red King's treachery.
No, that is way stronger. Well, this will be a fine sword. Probably the sword I'll use till the end of days.
One way or another.
Well, it'll become
Wow.
it'll become wow. Yeah, it'll become infamous
fair.
as, with any luck, it'll become infamous as the sword of the founder of the Amber Eagle.
Yeah, then I
Like
think
when,
I'll.
like-
when Grim passes on to the next generation of Amber Eagle leadership, like the Red King's treachery is just displayed. Like, look how cool it is.
Like even the colors kind of work.
Yeah.
Can't
It
believe.
is an amber color in the firelight.
I can't believe.
We got a sword.
There you go.
Yeah, I think Lithari slides it into the scabbard she made for it, which is like, it's the inside of it is like lined with something that makes it so that it just doesn't burn, but the outside is like this very nice, like varnished, like dark wood that's been carved.
That does sound rather elaborate.
Yeah, and I think
lavish.
it's stamped. I think it's also like the scabbard at like the very tip of the blade is stamped with the same insignia that's on the pommel of Lithari's sword, which is like this kind of like this like tri-petaled flower.
So we've both left our maker's mark on this sword.
Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, Elizabeth will probably then look to Lithari to be like, you know what? It's been really fun working with you.
Likewise. I'm sure Khadrizza
Well.
feels the same.
The fire flames and peaks and then settles.
I think
Well, like-
that's a yes.
Like, if you want to help us face this dragon, like, guess that offer is still in the air. Or we can call on you when we need you.
I'd be happy to lend my assistance, and I would be lying if I said that I did not wish to see one of my more recent works in action. And she hands the blade to Grim.
Well, he'll accept it with both hands.
Man,
Yeah.
this dragon isn't going to know what hit it.
It is
That's the plan.
with this sword as well, Grim. Like not with your regular weapons, you normally have them like sheathed at your side, but this thing is far too long to have sheathed at your side, so you have to sort of strap it to your back.
I can't believe I'm wearing it like a katana. Or something.
Yeah, you are.
Well, I say katana doesn't even.
I was going to say, yeah, Katana, you'd still have at your side.
It's
I mean, you're wearing it like you're wearing it like Link wears his sword.
Yeah. Some people do
Link
choose
wears-
to wear their swords like that. It's, you know, it's
Some
practical
by
in its
choice.
own ways.
some don't. Like
Yeah.
Grim.
A back scabbard?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
gosh back.
It's got its own. There's ups and downs to both at your hip and on your back.
It looks way cooler when you draw it from the back.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cooler
it's
drawn
like
from the back.
cooler.
It allows you to carry a longer sword without it potentially knocking on things or dragging on the ground.
Well, it's way cooler. However,
Harder.
trying to put it back in is
It's
a
harder to
pain.
draw, and trying to get it back in again is going to be a pain in
But
the
here's
ass.
the thing, you just have to look cool unsheathing the sword, drawing the sword. You can look like an absolute fool putting it back into the, into the scabbard. It's fine.
Yeah,
The
the
trick
idea
is
that no one will be alive to see it.
Yeah, if you're good with a sword, nobody ever sees you put it away.
Wow.
Gosh.
Well, hopefully
That's-
someone sees him put it away.
Like, I at least hope you have
Yeah.
friends,
Well,
because
to be fair,
Yeah.
The enemy might see you put it away plenty of times if you're a samurai who's also a show-off, because you might do that ridiculous samurai quick draw thing. Where you deliberately put the sword away just to draw it out really quickly when they're not expecting it.
Or you do the thing where you like take the sword out and slash, and then put it back in, and then like they watch as you put it back in, and then the blood starts spurting out.
Classic.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kurosaki.
Or like, you do the other classic thing where you're both running at each other, you both do a slice, and you slide along the floor, and you both stand there for a moment.
Yeah.
That's like the most unrealistic shit ever.
Yeah, and then the bad guy falls down, and then you do like a dramatic flippy shit and shoot the sword.
But it's dramatic.
Walk away.
That's what
we're getting dangerously deep into anime territory.
We are.
Oh, this is nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah.
This is you haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
But also the aesthetic of like pulling the sword off of your back and just having it burst into flames, like with like
It's
this like
pretty
red
badass.
head, like
Also-
breathing fire.
Yeah.
Also, this is the second campaign where Minnie's had a weapon that's on fire.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Except the other one, the fire didn't actually do anything.
It just looked cool. Well, also,
Hey, it shed 60 feet of bright light.
Oh,
the way-
that's
That's
true.
important.
by the way, Dave, stay tuned for the Dungeons and Dragons: The Second Age anime
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I don't know what you're talking about.
coming summer 2020.
Wow.
That's a bit
Way
soon
to put a
now.
time limit on it.
We make no promises. The deadline may be extended.
Wow.
It's like a Zelda game. It just gets delayed for 3 years.
Yeah.
But it's
you know,
still
when it
good in the
eventually-
end.
Yeah,
But it's
because
still
when you
good in the
eventually
end.
when it eventually comes out, you'll be glad you waited.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
9
we'll
years
just
in
get-
development, I hope it was
We just
worth
need
the wait.
you guys just need like a $3 million Kickstarter, and then
Yep.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Move over, crit
That's all
roll.
we need.
Yeah, I was
Come on,
gonna say.
Dave,
Crit roll could do
use
it.
your money.
We can
Uh.
maybe scrape by.
If Crit Roll can do it, we can maybe get $1.
It's fine.
Thanks, Dave.
Look, it was all
I would donate at least $1 to that.
Same.
Thanks.
There.
At least a
Look,
whole
I think we-
dollar.
I
A
think we can
whole
get up to
dollar.
five.
A whole baby.
The best part about me
Like a whole
donating $1.
baby.
The best part about me donating $1 is that's not even like a whole British pound.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's like 70 pence.
Wow.
Anyway. Yeah. Does anyone else have a scene before we close this out? I think.
I don't think so.
I think Lithari would like Llewellyn's probably been there the whole time. Lithari would just be like, "You can handle the forge for a while by yourself. It'll be good practice."
He bows his head and sort of says, "Well, I certainly have had enough training."
Well, and we got a order for 100 joints and hinges, so
That is
You
a lot of joints and hinges.
you watch the tension spread across the man's brow as he resists and says, "As you wish, master."
she like pats him on the shoulder and walks past him.
I cannot believe you've done this to your poor apprentice.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, you like everybody just leaves the room and Llewellyn just does not move.
Yeah.
Just remains rigid.
I mean, Elizabeth probably walks like at half the speed she normally does, and like is like really concernedly looking over her shoulder at him.
As everyone leaves, Khadrizza does like the thing where like the fire like spurts as if she's like
Yeah.
chuckling. Yeah.
So as you leave a poor man to the doom of his soul.
Wow.
Well, he knew what he got into.
Poor thing.
The life of a blacksmith. It's not all forging legendary weapons.
Yep.
How many bolts and hinges did Lithari have to make in her lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough for every door in the world, I imagine.
I do think. Well, I guess it's not really that important. The only other thing that happens is probably more stupid ideas to deal with the dragon.
Oh, like spitballing really dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Although,
yeah.
like, what if we gave Arya glue arrows?
Glue arrows.
So she shot the wings, and when they then like fold together, like they
No,
get
that
stuck.
is- What are you talking about?
Yeah, that is what? How would that even work?
Honestly, we're better off just trying to cut through this dragon's wings than trying to glue them together.
Yeah, I'm
So-
with Kelariis. I think
I'm
that
not sure
makes
if-
much more sense.
And I'm pretty sure the dragon's strong enough to just rip itself free of some glue.
Ow. But hey, anything that slows it down. Maybe tar would be better. Although that said, there is one thing we should keep in mind. The dragon is going to be airborne, so everybody needs to make sure they have something to, hit it whilst it's in the sky, or at least have something to do whilst not being able to hit it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little harder. Well,
Yeah.
maybe we could, while we're in the city, find a spell that I could try and ground it.
Oh, if you have any idea.
One exists, I'm sure.
Some kind of spell that binds something to the earth, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't that be convenient?
Yeah, how convenient that would be.
Probably wouldn't be too effective, though.
Feels like it might be a spell that some druids might know. I don't know. Do you know any druids?
Actually, I say nah, as we know a whole.
Yeah, we know a druid.
We know at least 3.
Yeah.
Also, I can cast it. But also, it's a strength save. So again, with the whole like dragon strength thing.
But like,
Yeah.
dragons are good at everything. So like, I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
strength.
that's
Actually, I would still like to point out that actually many dragons, if Elizabeth was to turn into them, would actually result in her having worse intelligence.
But not by much.
Actually, by quite a lot.
It depends
A,
on the
a silver dragon only has like 13 intelligence.
yeah, but like we're talking ancient here.
Wait, that's
Also, that seems very low.
sure about that? Because I thought
I'm
silver
like-
dragons were.
I am like 80% certain.
It's
Like,
still,
I don't want to look up the stats for the dragon because I don't want to
Yeah.
like.
it it's still
I
more
really
in,
wanna check
it's
it,
still
but-
more intelligence than some members of your party.
Wow.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
No, but you don't just say it like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, no, I was thinking of wisdom. An adult silver dragon's only got 13 wisdom,
Ah,
16 intelligence,
please on par with
which is still a
Yeah.
-2.
but they get other bonuses.
Yeah.
Oh
like
well.
20, 27 strength. Anyway,
And 50 movement speed.
Wish I had fucking 27 strength. Holy shit.
that'd be so fucking cool.
I just remembered the dragon that we were up against flew away so quick.
But yeah, like stuff that can something to do while it's in the air.
Admittedly, that is something we could leave.
I mean, that's mainly a problem for you and Kelariis, really.
Yeah, like you've got plenty of stuff. I hope.
Yeah.
Arya's bow is like I think we barely notice the enemy, and like she can still shoot
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I can firebolt him. I can electrocute him. I can throw a fireball at him. I've got plenty of ranged options. Also, maybe next time we should go into it with me summoning an elemental. That might help.
And there was also something else that I realized. Like Izzy was like, oh, 250 gold for safe. She must have a lot of money, and then we paid her 1,500.
Yeah.
In order to make it.
Yep.
It's like,
and we just spent 13,000.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that. She doesn't need to know everything. Oh, I do have to decide how much I overpay her still.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is like the worst excuse to give someone money at this point. Actually, what would be a reasonable amount?
See, this is where Vondal's concern came in.
Yeah, well, like I don't want to seem cheap because I just spent like 1,500 gold on it, but I also don't want to be like overly,
Yeah.
generous. I mean, it might sound like a bad, like a bad thing, but yeah.
Well, considering your parents have a fairly successful business, they probably make somewhere in the region of a few hundred golds. Well, their annual turnover is probably in the region of a few hundred gold.
Yeah.
The profit on that is probably not so much because they have to pay like property and rental and resources and all that stuff. So like a few hundred gold would be exceedingly generous.
Oh yeah, I was not thinking. I was like thinking maybe like 100 or 50. Because all the other times that we gave gold, like people were like over 10 gold, they lost their minds.
Yes. Because for most people, 10 gold is a year's wages, if not more.
Although if you think about it, that's like 3 copper a day.
Yeah, most people don't get paid 3 copper a day.
Man, they need to get better jobs.
Oh my god. That is so hard.
God.
It usually isn't really an option.
This is why capitalism is bad.
Yep.
Yup.
Oh, yeah.
And on that bombshell.
On that bombshell.
I'll just leave him as 100. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, work that out for your own tracker. But yeah, on that bombshell, thank you all for playing, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.